Hi, welcome to another video. Hi, welcome to another video. My name is Ilse and this is Ilse's Books. So before I start this video, I just want to say that I fully support the Black Lives Matter movement, and down in the description below I'm going to leave all the information about the fundraisers, the petitions, where you can get information, where you can donate, where you can share everything basically. Also, I'm going to link down below some creators videos, Black creators who I've seen videos and literally everything, just learning their experiences as people in the community is just so heart-wrenching. And I don't live in America, I live in Mexico, but I can somehow relate in some aspects in Mexico, because in Mexico we also deal with some of those things, but in a different way, if that makes sense. But we're not going to talk about that. That's a different story. But I'm trying to do whatever I can from where I am, from where I'm from. So I have been informing, I have been sharing, I have been donating, I have been watching the video that all the ads are gonna, like all the AdSense or all the revenue that they collect from that video is gonna be donated to charity organizations. So that's what I'm trying, that's what I'm doing. And I also took part of the matching donation with BTS because I thought that was amazing that all of the fandom just kind of like, you know, came up together and just tried to do something good. So those are the things that I'm trying to do to help, and also speaking up. I have been in debates on Facebook. I have deleted people on Facebook. I have unfollowed a lot of people on Instagram and on Twitter. And yeah, it's been a week, guys. So just wanted to say that I fully support it. I'm doing something about it. So I hope that you guys, wherever you are doing something about it, because this is something global. It's not just in America. It's not something that's happening in the US. It's something that people have been dealing with for years, and I don't want them to deal with this anymore. It's ridiculous, it's inhuman, and it's disgusting. So that's all I'm gonna say for this issue. So again, links down below. Please speak up, please do your research, do something. So I'm gonna tell you really quickly what are the books that I read in the month of May. Hopefully I don't take really long because I apparently like talking a lot. This is like the second time I tried doing this, so hopefully this works out. So the first book that I read in May is actually Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare. This is part of the Last Hours trilogy, which follows James Harrendale and Cordelia Carstairs, who are like the, I guess you could say like the both of the main characters. And we also follow the rest of the gang. The gang are basically like the children of the characters from our beloved The Infernal Devices. Now, I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I loved it. It has very, very good, high energy like characters, and then there are things that I didn't like, but then again, I really didn't care because I just loved this book to death. I tabbed a lot of my favorite parts, some of the parts that really made me angry and that made me want to throw the book out the window, but I didn't do that. But I really, really enjoy this. I think this trilogy is going to be one of my favorite trilogies out of the Shadowhunter Chronicles. But then again, I really love the Infernal Devices. So hopefully by the end, I think those are like the two series that I really, really am going to fall in love with. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I did a reading vlog for this book, and it was a reading vlog, guys. Like, I think I was rewatching it last night because, I don't know, for some reason I just felt rewatching it. And boy, was it a ride. So if you want to check that out, I'm gonna leave the link up here in the eye, so for you to check it out. The next book that I read, or well, the next books that I'm going to tell you are books that I have read during a ReadAthon, a 24-hour ReadAthon. It took place on May 9th on a Saturday, and this was hosted by Clau Reads Books. She's a Mexican booktuber here from the city that I live in. So I decided to join just last minute, and I really didn't have a TBR set or anything like of what to read. Since I'm a mood reader, I just picked up what kind of piqued my interest at that time. So the first book that I picked was Wicked Fox by Kat Cho. This book was gifted to me by Kevin, And I really love this book. I give this book a 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. And the only reason why I didn't give it the 5 complete stars was because something was missing for me. It wasn't bad at all. Like, I honestly really loved everything about this book. So basically we follow our main character Gumi Young, who is living in Korea, and she is part Gumiho. But basically Gumiho is a 9-tailed fox who basically feeds from the energy of men. Why not? So this story takes place in South Korea, which I love South Korea. I've always loved South Korea ever since I lived in the Philippines for 2.5 years. Like, the culture just really interests me. So this book was so much fun to read. And it also has a glossary at the back, because it has some of like Korean foods and places, and it was just very nice to have that in there, because I just didn't have to research it. I just had to go back and look at it. So it was really cool. I think I'm behind the hype of this book because this book came out last year and I just read it. But I'm really excited for the next book. I think the next book comes out in October. So yes, really enjoyed it. And if you want a badass female character, right here, this is for you. The next book that I pick up is Pan's Labyrinth by Guillermo del Toro and illustrated by Cornelia Funk. This is a book that was written like in book form. If you didn't know, this is a movie, and it's one of my favorite movies by Guillermo del Toro. And I picked it up because I just really wanted to. Like, I bought this edition in January, and I have been wanting to read it ever since Guillermo announced it. And basically it's literally the same thing as the movie, but in book form. And I think there's like an extra element of the story, fairy tale story aspect of it, and I really enjoy that. So basically we follow Ophelia, who is like in like the Spanish Civil War, I guess you could say. We follow Ophelia where she finds this magical place when she is sort of like the princess of this magical place, and in order to get to that magical place, she needs to prove herself with some trials. And that's all I'm gonna tell you. If you have not seen the movie, I highly recommend it. It's amazing, and Guillermo del Toro just has a way with stories, and I just love it. Plus supporting Mexican directors, authors, and it's just yes. The next book that I read for the ReadAthon, which is actually the last book that I read for the ReadAthon, is The Secret Life of Being a Blind by Stephanie Oakes. Now this book I gave 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. It wasn't bad whatsoever, but I just didn't connect with it as much as I would have loved to. And I had this book since 2016-ish prox, and I remember that this book has been on my bookshelf since then. So this book came out in 2015, so maybe if I had read it before, I would have loved it. But again, it's 3 stars, not bad, just something was missing. So basically we follow Minnow, who is, every time I say Minnow, it reminds me of the fish, sorry. So this story follows Minnow, who is part of a cult. And that's, I think, the first thing that you should know. Like, it's about cult. So she takes part of, or she is part of a cult. Her whole family is part of a cult. And she's basically narrating you her story about when she was in this cult and after the cult, because she deals with a murder, I guess you could say. They found her in this crime scene, and they kind of put the charges on her, or they're trying to find who is the culprit that started this crime. But at the same time, since she was just there, she was just there at the wrong time in some sense. And the most interesting about it is that she has no hands. So everybody's questioning, like, how did she do this if she has no hands? So it's basically following her journey through, like, it's kind of told in a past present sort of thing, where she tells you what happened, like, she tells you what is happening back in the cult, but then what is happening currently to her when she's in jail. She's meeting all of these people in jail, and how all of her perception of things have changed when she was in the cult, because she was very blinded by everything that was going on around her, because again, this was secluded, very far away from the city, like very outskirts of like society. yeah, it was very weird reading this. But again, I really enjoyed it. I think it's important, mostly because it talks about, I don't know what I was saying. My mom interrupted me. Oh yeah. I think this book is important because it deals with injustice in the I don't know how to explain it, in the criminal aspect or police aspect of it. I'm not sure if that's correct. But it basically talks about like the unfairness of women in the system and how it works. So I think it's important. And yeah, that's basically it. I have nothing else to say about this book. Again, I really enjoyed it. It just wasn't entirely for me. Maybe if I have read it back then when I got it, maybe it would have made a bigger impact, but right now it didn't. So the next book that I read is actually an ebook, and that is Spark by Aletha Romake. I have been reading Aletha Romake for a while now, and this new trilogy or series, it's different. So we follow secondary characters on other series from her, and this takes place in Chicago, and it deals with mafia sort of thing. This is a new adult dark romance book trilogy series. I don't know how to explain it. Basically, what we have our main character, her name is Madeline, where she is working for the broad bar, and in order for her to get whatever she wants, I'm not going to tell you what it is because that was a shock for me. So she has to work for the broad bar in order to get her freedom. So she is sent to Chicago for this contest, for this poker contest. And in that poker contest, she realizes that she sees one of her long lost lovers, like love of her life. And basically everything just goes downhill from there. And that's all I'm going to tell you about it, because again, it follows secondary characters from other series. So I don't know if you want to read that. Yeah, but I really enjoy it. I think I read the second book this month, or at the beginning of this month of June, and I'm trying to read the third book, but I have not started it. So yeah, but maybe tonight I'll read before I go to bed. So yeah, so those are all the books that I read in the month of May. I read 5 books. It's not that bad, but I think I could have done a lot better if it wasn't for work, but that happened. Now for my May goals, I just want to say that I'm going to try to read more diverse, I guess you could say, because it's Pride Month, and with all of this happening around, I want to support Black authors as well. So I'm going to try to read queer books and Black author books, and I am really excited because I've seen a lot of like TBR videos and lately, and a lot of good recommendations so far as well, and I'm just very excited. For example, I really want to read Felix Ever After. I cannot remember who is it from, but Kevin, I was just talking to him and he said he just read it and he really loved it, that he had like Simon versus the Homo sapiens vibes to it. So I'm really excited to read that. Then also Some Boys Are in Blue, I think it's called. All Boys Are in Blue. My bad. I'm so sorry. So I also want to read that because Jessie from Botas and Books raved about it. Also, I think I want to read The Black Flamingo. Kevin also read this a few months ago and he really loved it. He really connected with the character, and I think there's a reading vlog where he actually was reading this and he was crying. So I'm really excited to read that. There's also another book that I want to read. It's Get a Life, Chloe Brown, because it's just, the cover is so cute and a lot of people have been really loving this, and I just really want to read it. Like, I feel like I'm missing something, so I really want to read that. I really want to read some of Elizabeth Acevedo's books, because Books by Lanies, I think I'm hoping I'm saying that properly. Really raved about her latest book, which is Clap When You Land. I think I saw it today, this morning, and she was really raving about the book and how she was excited to have read this book because she really loves Elizabeth Acevedo and she has so much passion explaining this book. So I really want to read more of her books, and I think I'm going to read The Poet X. I think The Poet X is talked in or written in verse, so I think that'll be easy. And I think that, I think it's manageable, so I think I can do it. So basically, like, all the books that I'm telling you right now are just like things, like some book ideas that I want to read. I'm a mood reader, so I don't want to set myself like a set TBR, because I hate it. And the moment I do that, I'm just not going to do it. So those are just a few books that I really want to read, and hopefully I get into reading them. And yeah, that's basically it. I don't know what else to say. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and please, 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 please follow Black creators. Please lift them up. Please do your research. Please speak up. Please donate. Please share. Please inform. Please educate yourselves. And most importantly, please do not ask Black creators to educate you. You have Google. You have the resources. Just do the research. Do your part. Do your part. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. I really have nothing else to say, and I'm just not gonna make this video as long as it should be. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.